What's up, everyone? Welcome to Chicks and Salsa. We have a new logo for you guys. So next week you will see a new logo up there, and we will officially have the Chicks and Salsa all together. But today's kind of a preview of that. We got Candy on here with us. We got Kari in the bottom corner, and then I got Jenn Lewis to my left, right, whichever way.
Always to your left.
To the left, to the left, to the right.
How's everybody's week going?
Sing it, Kari. Pretty good.
How about yours?
My week has been interesting. Today was my Monday, and then I have vacation next week. So like I'm just counting down almost the hours until vacation. And so vacation starts, Friday at 5:30 p.m. and I'm excited.
Not that she's counting hours like she said, but
oh, I am. I'm counting shifts, and so I got 3 more shifts and then I'm done. And I'm excited for that. So just powering through this week, Okay, so we had some news, some development in the Brittany Griner situation. As y'all know, she has been she's been detained in Russia for about 250 days now, and we'll be coming up on the year mark in February. She had an appeal early this morning, and she was denied. And so she was sentenced last month to 9 years. And she had up to 10 years. And so they went ahead and went with 9 years. And then also they are including some time where she's going to get time and a half. And so she will end up doing a total of 8 years if she has to, in fact, do this sentence. And she will be moved at some point in time to a maximum security facility. And as you can imagine, every horrible thing that you can imagine is possible in that situation. Torture, propaganda, watching Russian propaganda, just all amounts of things that you could possibly imagine. And especially in a country that hates homosexuals, and they definitely don't like African Americans. And so, that's a double whammy for her right there. And then on top of that, the sentence. So, and just the role that she plays in that. I will say, though, that midterm elections are coming up soon. And so I haven't exactly lost hope that we might see her before the end of the year or something enacted as that happens. It could be a very positive thing that this was actually denied today, because then the process of prisoner exchange can start at that point. I was really nervous when I heard them say that she was going to appeal, because obviously I think we all knew it was going to go this way. And the WNBA, they released a statement this afternoon and said that they were not surprised, but of course saddened by the situation. But they anticipated this as well. So any thoughts, ladies, on this?
they did bring up today, and I was listening to ESPN in the background, that it's really important that at this point they're asking that people do not let her story be so overwhelming and sad, thinking that there's nothing that we can do, that it dies out of the conversation. And so that they did ask that we keep talking about it. So I'm glad that as our podcasts have not let her go, have not left her behind, that we are constantly bringing her up and paying attention.
Awesome. Either of you ladies have anything to add?
I agree. I think I like the fact how I've seen some of the male NBA wear supportive shirts and stuff like that, right, to support her and to keep it up in the media, so that we're constantly reminded of it. Like Kari said, that we're not forgetting about what happened to her, and that, we keep it top of mind and keep praying that they do the right thing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, and I know there's a lot of people that say that the person that Russia is really looking for in this exchange, one of the people, there's actually several different people and factors that go into the situation. And it involves Germany and a couple other places. And actually, the person that they're wanting, that they call the Merchant of Death, has actually served like 19 years on his 25-year sentence. So, while you might feel like, no, it's not a fair exchange, this is somebody who's almost done with his sentence anyway. Like, he has about 6 years left on that. So, I think that kind of evens the playing field, because I don't want to sit there and say, someone that is an athlete, an American athlete, takes precedence over somebody who's, called the Merchant of Death, because I definitely don't think that. But, when you sit there and know some of the facts about the situation, like, he has 6 years left on his sentence. He's already done 19 years. I mean, 2 decades he's already done. So not saying that it's not necessarily condoning that, but I think it kind of evens the playing field there some. So just our thoughts are with Brittany Griner, her wife, her children, and then her sisters that are in a part of the WNBA. Just definitely there in our thoughts today. All right, ladies. So let's go ahead and slide over to a couple of more happy topics. We've got week 7 of the NFL. Kari, we know that you had a great week 7, correct?
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of fun to watch. We saw the return of Clark and his confidence on the field. I think we really saw him step up and be able to show his level of confidence. I was really proud of our defense that, for the most part, were very conscientious of what they were doing and not overreacting or overtaking situations. It was released right towards the end of the day that Frank Clark is going to have a 2-game suspension, and that will start after our bye week. So he's out for us seeing the Titans, and I can't remember the other team, maybe the Jags. I can't remember who the other one is that we go up against off the top of my head, but he'll serve 2, but he'll be back in time for interconference or interdivision for our second game against the Chargers. But very exciting to watch our game on Sunday. There was lots of people scoring, lots of people that were brought into the game that made it a lot of exciting, because it passed things around, and that was nice. That was nice to see everybody step up.
And this was actually the first game that we got to see Christian McCaffrey in a Niners jersey. What were your thoughts on his performance with this team? And don't look at me like that. It's a viable question.
It's a viable question, Miss Jen.
No, it's not. I'm waiting to hear what you say, and then I want to say something.
Well, what I was impressed most by is the fact that the fans had already embraced him enough that when he was pulled off the field, it was a very audible, very noticeable displeasure that he was coming off. He did make some very exciting plays for them, and when he had the ball in his hands, he was moving the ball. So it's going to be a good add to San Fran, and as he gets worked into their scheme of things, it's going to make it a little bit harder for those, for their division as well. So impressive. I was really kind of glad that he wasn't left in as much as he was, because it would have been a problem for us. So for that, I was thankful that he was being pulled out, but it was really encouraging.
And their division is so weird anyway. Right now, the Seahawks lead the division 4-3. Yeah, the Seahawks, who, before the season started, all of us, I mean, I think we knew who Geno Smith was, but we definitely didn't have any confidence in Geno Smith. And he has since definitely proven a lot of us wrong. And like I said, they lead the division, and the rest of the division is either 3-3, the Rams, the Niners are 3-4, and then the Cardinals are 3-4. The Cardinals managed to get a much needed win on Thursday Night Football, 42-34 against the Saints. Then we saw a cliffhanger there with the Browns and the Ravens. I heard that the refs played a role in that game as well, one of the last plays. And it went in favor for Baltimore, who ended up winning 23-20, which I think we thought that the Ravens were going to be better than they are as well. And keep in mind, that's going to be a common storyline. Like, we thought this team was going to be better than what they are showing to be. The Falcons lost to the Bengals. It seems like the Bengals kind of got their offense turned back on, 35-17. Then we had the Cowboys game. We had the return of Dakota Prescott. Despite the amount of deficit on the win there, Cowboys 24, Lions 6, I will say that I was not super impressed by Dak's performance. I do think that obviously, like even going into this season, I knew it was going to be tough for Dak because he doesn't have the same amount of weapons. It does seem like Zeke is kind of finding his vibe. He was needed in the absence of Dak, and he's needed now still. So next week we play Chicago. This is going to be another important win. Chicago managed to get a win last night.
Not only did they got a very statement type win last night.
Yes, they did. 33-14 against the Patriots. And then they will be playing us in Chicago. So that might play a factor as well. And this is where, even though necessarily Chicago's not a great team, I still think that, there should be some concern on Dallas's part. Like, they should not look at this because this could very well be a trap game. And I still think it's possible that Dak could come in and get some momentum and, start changing things into a different direction. Jags almost beat the Giants. The Giants are still now 6-1, 23-17. Then we had the Packers, who lost to Washington 21-23. The Colts lost to Tennessee 10-19. And then the Raiders beat Houston 38-20. Jets beat the Broncos 16-9. And then the score on that Chiefs game was 44-23. Any thoughts this week, ladies?
You missed a game.
Seahawks and Chargers.
You missed the most.
And the Panthers. That was
probably
now that's a big one.
game.
No. I'm saving those for y'all. Saving those for y'all. So, talk to us about Green Bay, Candy, and any other game you want to talk to us about, and then Jen, you as well.
I am at a loss with Green Bay. We all predicted them to do a lot better than what they're showing so far. Their offensive line has really stunk it up. And it's not making any holes for any of our running game. You can't win an NFL game with 38 yards rushing. Like, that just doesn't work. Right. And if your running game isn't working, then your passing game either has to be on point, but if your offensive line can't, hold the line, then Rodgers is running for his life too. And when he's running to receivers that are not used to running the routes that he's used to people running, Rodgers doesn't throw to a receiver. He throws to a spot where the receiver's supposed to be. And if the receiver's not there, there's not a completion. And so there's a lot of little holes that are messed up. And I'm not sure that his calling everybody out is helping a young team develop. You were talking about young receivers, young kids that aren't used to playing in the NFL, aren't used to playing with someone like Aaron Rodgers. And then to be called out like that, I think is a detriment in my eyes.
Definitely.
And this week, we're not going to, let's face it, we're on Sunday night against the Bills. Like, that is going to be
for you. Go Bills.
I'm rooting for my Packers, but I don't,
We would all probably like you to knock the Bills down a little bit, but it looks like it's going to be tough. It does seem like there's quite a bit of a discord there in Green Bay, older guys versus the younger guys, and it's really one older guy versus the younger guy. So,
and it's even Rodgers calling out the coaching staff, saying that we need to, make the plays less complicated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but as much as I like Aaron Rodgers, he's a good quarterback. He's not the coach. And he needs to stick to being a quarterback and listening to his coach.
Well, that's kind of like when Brady decided to fansplain to the reporters how offenses score. I'm like, both Brady and Rodgers are having breakdown. Either they're breaking down in front of us.
Mm-hmm. And Russell.
I'm enjoying with popcorn the Brady part, but Sorry. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to, right? No, I did. So, but honestly, we're watching two legitimate great players fall apart in front of our eyes. And we're letting them try to throw out excuses too. I don't know. It's weird to me. Weird.
Now, Jen, we talked about that you guys lost Christian McCaffrey this week, but you turned around, beat a
Still
division
painful.
rival.
Not gonna
It's still
lie.
painful, but I mean, obviously, of course, and I completely understand because to this day, I don't like Kawhi Leonard, and you can just throw DeJounte Murray in the mix as well. So completely understand. But you guys are able to win and in such a massive style at that too, 21-3. Talk to us about that game, and then talk to us about CMC.
Okay. And I want to say one thing about Aaron, and I'm sorry, Candy, because until he lied, I had a lot of respect for Aaron. So
Right.
I really did. Like, I took heat because I was like, I actually, at one point I said, I think Aaron's probably the most underappreciated quarterback in the league. So but I was my favorite meme of this NFL season will be the one of Aaron Rodgers laying face down after the game on Sunday, because I'm sorry, that was just funny.
That's pretty funny.
I understand.
Where are people complaining about him pouting? But okay,
There was no tablet thrown before, so I mean, there was a football, but not a tablet.
Tom Brady.
So funny.
Okay, first of all, everyone forgets. Before 2019, we owned Tampa Bay. We owned the New England Patriots. Our buddy John Shearer, we were doing a podcast, and he said that Tua was the only quarterback to go undefeated. That's not true. Cam. Sorry, Cam and Ron. They were there before Tua, baby. I let it go then, but sorry. Had to throw that in. Steve Wilkes was a part of that coaching staff. Do we not think that Ron Rivera taught him how to beat the Buccaneers and how to beat the New England Patriots and Tom Brady? Because he did. What's really heartwarming, our defense, I've said for the last 2 years, our defense wasn't getting was getting too much action. We were worn down. We were tired. Brian Burns got his first sack on Tom Brady. That had been like on his bucket list. He said that. He was like, I always wanted to sack Tom Brady. I did it. Our D was on freaking point. I don't know if it's because they're playing for their jobs right now. Let's be truthful.
Well, I mean, it is a fire sale there right now.
No.
I
blame that rule for certain things. So
right, it gives your team gives the appearance that it's a fire sale. I think
that's what ESPN says. So, and we don't talk about them because they stole our concept. But so you need to start watching a different football show. But we were but our D, like if you looked at any of our D on their offense, like they could barely breathe. We were on them. We were on them like white on rice, y'all. And right. I felt very bad because that is the first home game I have not been to, and I don't know how long. But I also have said, and I've said it to you ladies on screen and off screen, Steve Wilkes, I thought this summer when we brought Wilkes back in, I knew then he was going to be our interim head coach. I also called week 5. I also said after Cam left, Cam wasn't done in Carolina yet. And I was right. I will say Christian's not done in Carolina yet. Give it a year and a half. Contract, next year's contract year, he'll be back. Because keep in mind, he has the most expensive house in Charlotte.
Okay.
So, and he nor Olivia wanted to leave. I think Fitterer really wanted him to, like, because Rule put us in this predicament because he played NFL carousel, right? Or
That's right.
NBA quarterback carousel. I'm sorry.
Indeed.
3 different starting quarterbacks at the beginning of every single season. We've had 9 different starting quarterbacks in 2.5 seasons? Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think my goal for Steve Wilkes, I had a feeling he was going to win Tampa Bay. I kept that to myself. I said it to my father-in-law, my husband, my dad, and I talked about it ad nauseum. I didn't want to catch all the heat that I was surely going to catch because I was always catching grief for losing Christian. So I didn't want to run my mouth too much. Plus, but I do think Christian will be back. Right now, we're 2 away from leading the NFC South because our 2 wins have been the Saints and the Bucks. We have the Falcons this Sunday. Then in 2 weeks, we have the Falcons again on Thursday Night Football. So, and that'll be here at Bank of America Stadium. So, I'm not saying anything, but my goal for Coach Wilkes was to bring back Keep Pounding, which he has done. He did that within 5 hours of taking over the realm. And my goal was for him to take over, make us a team. Not just a bunch of guys playing ball. And you know what Sunday was? Sunday was a team win. Sunday was a team win. It wasn't just a bunch of guys playing ball. And we do have to thank the Buccaneers for our win against the New Orleans Saints, because I still think it was because of that fight that they had the week before. But
well, and definitely kind of a redemption win on a tough week for you guys. So yes. I know that was somewhat of a, a moral victory as well. Right.
I've always liked PJ. Everybody's thought I was crazy, but I've always liked PJ. Y'all know that. Katie, you may not know that, but I've always had a soft spot for PJ. So I was like, I like him.
So last Tuesday, we saw the start of the NBA season as well. And so the postseason or the off season was full of drama, free agency. There were some mix-ups. We've seen several people come back from injury. Jamal Murray has come back from injury. Kawhi Leonard is definitely back in a big way. And we've seen some other people come back. Zion Williamson came back and then came down. He had a hip contusion. He went up, came down really hard, landed on his hip. I think he'll be perfectly fine. It was most likely a bone bruise. And definitely not a injury to feel scared about, because he came back, he's fit, and he looks like he's ready to compete for the entire season. So just a minor injury. But first off, I want to talk about the standings, because like we were talking about, this is going to be a common theme in this show, is that there are some teams that are way better than expected and other teams that are way worse. I think we probably could have predicted Lakers for number 14, and they are 0-3 right now. I think it just kind of carries over from last season, so probably not that much different, other than the fact that they got a different head coach. Will we see Russell Westbrook leave? Will we see something different there in LA? Thoughts, ladies?
I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing rumors that Terry Rozier is going to go there.
Oh, I like Scary Terry.
I like Scary Terry too. I don't know.
I'm not going to like him in LA though.
Huh?
I'm not going to like him in LA though. I'm a Spurs fan.
I know.
Speaking of the Spurs, who we thought were tanking, myself included, they are 3-1. And they are the number 2 seed, which is week 1. It's extremely early. No one get too excited. We might just be making it look like we're not tanking when in fact we're tanking. So that's very plausible, but I'm going to go ahead and take that 2 seed win at this moment, because that might be the only win that we get this season. At number 1, we got the Trailblazers, who are 4-0. In the West. They're the only team that's undefeated at this point in time. Dame Lillard, another one of those players that we saw come back from injury. And as we know, Portland was not a good team last year. And I think that there were a lot of us, myself included, that were highly critical of the Chauncey Billups hiring. And then having Dame Lillard out. Now, I do like their other guard that they have, Anthony Simmons. I think he's really amazing. He won the dunk contest 2 years ago. And I think he's incredibly talented, a great backup for Damian Lillard. And then at number 3, you got the Grizzlies. They're 3-1. I don't think that's too surprising. And then we got another team that everybody expected to be at the bottom, who's 3-1, the Jazz, who got their first loss last night against the Houston Rockets. And if there were two teams that you thought were probably going to be tanking this season, it was going to be the Spurs and Utah. So I think that's surprising. Now, do you guys think that these teams are actually any good, or do you think that it's just early on?
I think it's early on, but I think it's somewhat indicative as well, except for the 76ers. Like, the 76ers have kind of surprised me because historically the Sixers have owned the Celtics. However, starting late last season, after January, when maybe the Celtics got their butts handed to them in the locker room, that's when the Celtics started turning it around, obviously. But the 76ers have surprised me. They'll turn it around. I know they will. Because Joel Embiid is probably already in talks for MVP, at least by the 76ers fan base. All right, just James Tatum talking to you, baby.
Right.
So
now they are sitting at number 12 right now in the East, and they are 1-3. So a tough start, a tough week one for them. And then we have the Heat, who are also 1-3. That's pretty surprising. The Pistons are actually better than those teams. They're 1-2. The Nets are 1-2, who are at number 10. And then we have the Bulls, who, despite they have some injuries going on over there as well. Lonzo Ball is not playing currently. They are 2-2. The Raptors are 2-2. The Cavs, which is a really interesting team. I think because we saw Donovan Mitchell get traded there. And then they had to do some adjusting in order for them to get Donovan Mitchell. They traded off Colin Sexton to Utah, who obviously in Utah, he's doing well. They had too many guards. They were going to have to pay somebody. Were they going to play Darius Garland or were they going to pay Colin Sexton? And I think that Colin Sexton was injured so much that they just adjusted to Darius Garland more than they did Colin Sexton. So not that I think one is really better than the other, but the team was used to Darius Garland, in my opinion. And then you got the Bucks at number 1, who are 2-0, and then the Celtics, who are at number 2, they're 3-1. And you got the Hornets. The Hornets, who we thought were not going to be any good because they ended up losing. No, I don't. I love LaMelo Ball. I like Terry Rozier. Who did y'all that got in trouble in the offseason?
We don't talk about him because he needs to be in jail for attempted murder.
But he was a really integral part to y'all's team.
He was.
And so I guess I was concerned for you guys losing him, and then Gordon and Hayward is real up and down too. So never quite sure what was never was really quite sure what Charlotte was going to do, but they're currently sitting at number 3 also. And then you got the Wizards, who are at number 4. They're 2-1. And then the Hawks, who I basically refuse to talk about, are 2-1 as well.
And I love
my Bucks, and they don't even have Middleton back yet, really.
Right.
So, I mean, I know it's only 2 games, so it's really young in the season here, especially for them. They haven't played very much, but
right.
So, but it's just really, I've been through the lean years. I've been through all these years. And so it was really great 2 years ago when they won it all. And I'm just hoping they can return. They really, they really energized Milwaukee, the city. They had a new stadium built. They have a whole new district downtown. It's exciting. It's an exciting place to be. And I have yet to actually get to a game up there since I live now in South Florida, but I still follow my hometown team.
And so does anybody think that the Clippers are going to be able to get it done? Now, as we know, they have not ever won a championship. Okay, so they got Kawhi, they got Paul George, and then they got John Wall in the offseason as well, who John Wall seems to really fit in there coming off of the bench. He was able to kind of relinquish that starter role and know that, hey, I need minute restriction just because of my health. And maybe necessarily I don't need to be the 1 or 2 option. And so him coming off the bench has been really great for them as well. So I know that's just something we know the Lakers aren't going to be it this season. And I don't think there's anything that they could do this season for me to feel like they're contenders. Now, they might make the playoffs if they make some changes. Now, do I think they would make a deep playoff run? No, not at all. But I think the Clippers look very serious right now, but that's dependent on health. We know how things are with Kawhi, who is actually coming off the bench as well. You had Tyronn Lue, who said that they're going to manage his minutes and they're actually going to have him come off the bench. For me, in my opinion, which I know is somewhat biased because I'm a Spurs fan, I think at this point that, the man is 31 years old. And if you're having to manage his minutes like this, I think it's time to put that tag on him as injury prone.
Yeah, that's a very fair point.
And not being a jerk about it, just saying that,
No.
I think at this point in time in his career that I think that's just something that you have to put along with that. And, I won't delve into the whole Spurs drama, which he keeps bringing up, and saying that.
Don't you that's why I would get mad at Kobe, because he refused to play in Charlotte, and rest in peace, you died too young, but you keep bringing it up after you refuse to play here and you rewrote history. I remember
he said,
and
he basically said that he was happy with the Clippers organization and his rehab process this time, and that it was nothing like being in San Antonio. And I think he could have just left that last part off, like he could have just said, I'm really happy with my rehab process and I'm happy with the Clippers staff, and I would have respected that.
He's just butthurt about something.
Well, it's something happened behind closed doors that we don't know about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his cross to bear at this point, because Pop ain't worrying about it.
His comments, I mean, I know it's two different sports, but his comments remind me of what Tyreek has been doing to the Chiefs this whole offseason. And you're like, okay, be happy with where you are. Be appreciative of what you are. Embrace where you are. Embrace where your choices have led you. But don't crash your last place.
Embrace who help you grow.
Because I certainly don't think that Kawhi would be Kawhi without San Antonio.
No.
I mean, we gave Tyreek a chance when the league was wanting to throw him out. So,
true story. So, I
mean, that whole concept of dogging your last team. When you do not have an immaculate record, makes it look bad for you, my opinion. So, yeah, Kawhi dissing the Spurs is not a good look. It doesn't help him in any aspect. But they helped him.
It's probably like the second sentence he said all year, and he wants to choose those words.
Right.
All right, Jen, I know you said, and I know we have a problem with our comments not showing right now. I have the same problem. I know, ladies, when I logged in, it said my comments weren't showing either. So for some reason, if your comments aren't showing or we didn't show it, it's not that necessarily we didn't see it, you guys. We're just kind of having some technical difficulties. Jen, do you want to read your comments off?
Sure. So my girl, Leah Rose Figueroa, said, I hope she's able to come home soon regarding Brittany. She's very vested in this as well. Jeremy said, one of these nights I'd love to talk football with you ladies. Hi, Jen. And hi, Jeremy. And no, because LeBron's still on the team and LeBron's a basketball hog and I don't like LeBron. And Dimitri said, keep up the good work, ladies, because we're beating those Falcons. Heck yeah, we are, D. And then my girlfriend Gretchen is watching. Hey, Gretch, love you. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in and commenting. Like I said, if you didn't see your comment this week, we will definitely try to have our technical difficulties worked out next week. Was there anything else that you ladies wanted to add before we head out?
I just want to say it's, for my family that is out east, it's a great day to be a Philadelphia sports fan. It's been a great week. And so shout out to my family out there and my guy right near me for being loyal fans to the Philly sports, because it's their time to shine right now. They really, Phillies are the Cinderella story at the moment in baseball, and I might actually root for them. I don't know. Well, that's debatable, but
you can root for your boyfriend who's rooting for them. How about that?
Well, I mean, I root with him. Yes.
Well, you can root that he's happy.
Right. Absolutely.
Therefore, you can root for
all I can say is beat Houston. Beat Houston.
Jay, I'm being nice. Be nice to me in the future. Okay. This just ends. So athletes are leaving Kanye's agency after Kanye West. This just came across my phone from The Athletic, by the way. So NFL star Aaron
Donald
Donald.
ended.
Huh?
I was gonna say Donald ended his relationship with him today.
Yeah,
He and his
that's what I
wife
was
had
about to
released a
say.
statement.
And then Jaylen Brown is departing as well. And there's several others, but those are the ones that just came through. And Mac Jones, quit but kicking boys in the balls that are bigger than you and can break your twiggly butt. And I really hope New England keeps Zappy because I like saying Zappy as he zaps across the field. Sorry.
I actually watched Zappy when he was down here playing FAU when he was Western Kentucky University last year. And we really liked it. It was really cool. And we're like, we thought he was going to go places. So it was cool.
Jeremy, you're crazy.
I'm going to say one last shout out because tomorrow happens to be my dad's 80th birthday. He has not been feeling well, but happy birthday to him. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to your dad, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, that's going to be the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in or commenting or sharing. We really appreciate all of y'all interacting with us. If you ever have any topic ideas that you want, feel free to contact any of us. And the show and the group is public, so feel free to share it or whatever you choose to do with it. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you back next week.
Thanks,
everybody.